All right, Shalom. First off, I want to start off by saying all praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakal Kodash. That's all praise to the world calls God and Jesus Christ. The true names in the Hebrew is Yahweh for the Heavenly Father, and Yahweh Shai for his beloved Son. I also want to say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, preaching his word in truth and sincerity. This is the brother Taza Ball, Lord Will, on another video to edify. And what you see here is an article which is going about how only 30% of the crops have been corn crops have been planted, which is a huge staple grain for production and mass production and processed food, man. And that's what like 90% of the diet is here in America, man, is processed food. Globally as well, man. So this is going to have a big impact, and I'm going to go through some scriptures, and Lord willing, this is going to be edifying, and then I'll also have a video. So it says, Farmageddon looms. It says only 30% of U.S. cornfields have been planted. 5-year average is 66%. So by this time, and this article was done 5/16/2019. By this time, for the 5 years straight, 66% of corn was planted in the ground. So it says 2019 is turning out to be a nightmare that never ends for agricultural industry. It says thanks to endless rain and unprecedented flooding, fields all over the middle part of the country are absolutely soaked right now, and this has prevented many farmers from getting their crops in the ground. I knew that this was a problem, but when I heard that only 30% of U.S. cornfields have been planted as of Sunday, I had a really hard time believing it. But it turns out the number is 100% accurate, and at this point, corn farmers are up against the wall because crop insurance final planting dates have either already passed or are coming up very quickly. In addition, for every day after May 15th that corn is not in the ground, farmers lose approximately 2% of their yield. Unfortunately, more rain is on the way, and it looks like thousands of corn farmers will not be able to plant corn at all this year. This is no exaggeration to say that we are facing a true national catastrophe. And what you have to understand is corn literally is in everything. They use that as a filler and feed for livestock, which it doesn't cover in this, but a lot of livestock has died because of these floodings. They use it as a feed for livestock. They use it as they use it as fillers in certain bread products that you get. They use it as they use it as fillers for some pastas that you get. Corn is a very versatile grain, basically, or crop, other than grain. But that's gonna have a huge impact. So this is Isaiah 10, Isaiah 5, Salakia. Isaiah 5 and 10. It says, Isaiah 5 and 10, it says, yeah, 10 acres of a vineyard shall yield one bath, and the seed of a homer shall yield an ephod, meaning that it's not going to be as fruitful as it's supposed to be. So it's 10 acres of a vineyard. So if you had a vineyard, and you planted all the seed in your vineyard for you to bring forth grapes, for you to be able to make your wine, and you were going to stump the grapes, you would only be able to gather in just enough to make one batch of wine, It says, woe to unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink, that they may continue unto night till wine inflame them. And harp, and the harp, and the viol, and the tabret, and pipe, and wine are in their feasts, but they regard not the work of Yahweh, neither consider the operation of his hands. Because a lot of people aren't considering these times to be something that's inching forward to this going to be something very important as far as prophecy, because all this is going to lead to famine and upheaval of the people, you know? So, let's see what else is in an article. This is, look at this. It says soybean farmers have more time to recover, but they are facing a unique problem of their own, which we'll talk about later in the article. Let me see if I can get down to that soybean farmer part. Look at that. It says, as a result, very few Illinois farmers have been able to get corn or soybeans in the ground at this point. It says about 4% of soybeans last year at this time. You see? So it says normally if corn farmers have a problem getting corn in the ground, then they just switch to soybean instead. But thanks to a trade war, soybean exports have plummeted dramatically, and the price of soybeans is the lowest that it has been in decades. So they're not making enough money to sit here and put this soybean down, man. So it's not even worth it. So they haven't even been able to put that down in the ground, and if they do, they're just going to lose major profits. So this thing is kicking up, and it's through the Lord that this stuff is happening, because it says Second Ezra 15 and 12. It says, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn. And in Egypt is spiritually now Babylon the Great, which is America. You know, this is the new place of bondage where they won't let the Israelites go, the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So this place is smitten with the plague and the punishment of the Heavenly Father, man. It's losing. It's no longer that fruitful place where abundance was. It says, they that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting. Let me see if I can. Maybe that's in the etymology. Oh, here it is. There it is. It says tonight explosion used in blasting 1881, the Latin to thunder. You see? So that word tonight goes back to the word blasting, which means to thunder. Now, let me see. It says to blow, belch forth, to breathe on balefully, to cause to wither, blight, prevent from blossoming or maturing. You see that? And that's what blasting goes back to. So, through the blasting in hell, did the Lord bring those storms, that thundering? These farmers are going to mourn because they're the ones that till the ground and their seed is failing. It says, and with fearful consolation, it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and the destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. You see? And all this is going to culminate into the sedition of men, like it says in the next verse. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings and their princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power." And that's what we're seeing, man. Is the Lord is making everything happen so this place can go down, and we're watching it unravel, man. Now, peep this.
Ops around the globe. It's not just in the United States, as we have talked about and seen with the flooding, the Missouri, the Mississippi, all the farmland, the cattle getting wiped out, the wheat, the corn, the soy. Only 30% of our corn this year has been planted in the United States. And now we see that from Australia to North Korea to Argentina, where I just put a video out on the other channel talking about what just happened down there. Over 1.5 million acres wiped out of farmland or crops that are either damaged or destroyed because of this crazy weather. Now, Australia is coming off of a 116-year drought, and they have imported wheat for the first time in 116 years, is what they're saying, because of the worst drought. So, for the first time in over a decade, they've brought in wheat because of that drought. And the flood and the hail have damaged crops in Italy, decimating the watermelon and all the fruit that they were growing there. The planting in France has been slowed down by extreme cold temperatures. Severe drought is devastating the Yucatan in Mexico. Lowest rainfall in 100 years leaves millions at risk of starvation. Where? North Korea. How does this happen right over one little country?
You see, this thing is coming upon the entire world. The Lord is pulling out his judgments on the entire world, man, because everybody is going to have this, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, see, this is Revelation 3 and 10. It says, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation." And who are the ones keeping the word of the Heavenly Father's patience? Is the Israelites, the elect, the 1/3 and the elect. The prophets are the ones keeping the word. So the Lord is going to keep us from the hour of temptation, man. Like it says in the scriptures, "Ye shall hunger and thirst, but we shall have abundance if we be part of that hopeful elect number," man. The Lord is going to feed us. We don't have to worry about everybody else dying of hunger, man. Because the Lord is going to take care of us in that day, just like he did with Hagar. You know, when he had the crow bring her food, or the prophet, when he had another prophet bring him a food while he was in bonds. You know, this is the Lord is going to take care of us in that time. But peep this, it says keep them from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. You know, and that hour of temptation is going into this food being taken away, and then them trying to implement the mark of the beast, saying, "Hey, you take this chip, take this RFID chip, it'll be your way to be part of this new system, and you can eat." See, a lot of people don't have the hope of this salvation, man, so they don't have this defense. You know? But all these storms and these crops failing, this is all going into prophecy, man. And these curses are starting to fall back on Esau, Edom, man. And this stuff is all happening for one big thing, man. This is Tobit and Apocrypha 4:13. It says, "Now therefore, my son, love thy brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of thy people, and not taking a wife of them. For in pride is destruction and much trouble, and in lewdness is decay and great want. For lewdness is the mother of famine." You see, lewdness is the mother of famine, and this is the most lewd kingdom there is. And I did a little word search on that word lewd. It says lewdness. Use lewdness in a sentence. Noun. The definition of lewdness is the quality of being the quality of being very sexual or lustful in an offensive way. An example of lewdness is asking people for sexual favors on the street. And this is what America is. It's a lewd place, man. This is the place where all types of wickedness, all types of abomination goes on, and this is why it is spread throughout the entire world, because it says the nations have drinking of the wine of the wrath of Babylon the Great's fornication. So this place deals in this lewdness, and now the Lord's going to bring this famine, man. It's the mother of all famine, and that's why these things are happening, man. And also because these curses are starting to fall back on our enemies. Let me get the curse real quick. This is Deuteronomy 28. You know what? I'll get the judgment. Deuteronomy 30:7. It says, "And Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecute thee." You see all the curses. And what was one of the curses, man? What was one of the curses? Deuteronomy 28:22. It says, "And Yahweh shall smite thee with a consumption and with a fever and with inflammation." And inflammation leads to sickness, and which is that's happening globally, man. They have all these random plagues that are popping back up, and with extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting. You see, with blasting. Let's get that word blasting right there. Deuteronomy 28:20. See if I can get that real quick. It's 22, Salakia. Says blasting. Shadapa. It says blight or blasting thing. Blasted, blighted, blasted. Blight of crops. And that's what it means, man. A blight is basically a sickness or dying off of crops. So this was one of the curses, and now it's falling upon our enemies. So reading on in it, it says Deuteronomy 28:22. It says, "Yahweh will smite thee with the consumption, and with a fever, and with an inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew." You know what? I'm gonna look at that word mildew too, man. I never looked it up. Maybe it's got some juice on it. Yara Kwa Wan. Yara Kwan. Mildew, paleness, lividness, mildew, rust, paleness. From drought, you see, green is yellow. So the Lord's suffocating the crops with those floods. So Deuteronomy 28:22, it says, and remind you, man, the scriptures tell you that this is a curse that will fall upon our enemies. Deuteronomy 30:7, it says, Yahweh, and this is back in Deuteronomy 28:22, where all the curses are. It says, "And Yahweh shall smite thee with a consumption, with a fever, and with an inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish." And that's what's going to happen, man. This place is going to be pursued by this famine until men start dying, man, because it's a famine of the Heavenly Father, man. This is Jeremiah 42:16. It says, "Then shall it come to pass that the sword which they feared shall overtake you, therefore in the land of Egypt, and the famine wherefore you were afraid shall follow close after you there in Egypt, and there ye shall die." You see? And this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen, man. A lot of people that trust in America, Babylon the Great, that hoped in this place, man, you're gonna die with your expectation of this place being your defense, man, because you didn't trust or choose the fear of the Lord, man. And a lot of our people are gonna die on this side, man, because the scriptures tell you 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die. That's 20. That's 66.6% of the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the confusion of face, are gonna die in Babylon the Great and throughout the entire world, man. But the third part shall be brought through the fire and be saved and allotted for salvation. It's Jeremiah 44:13. It says, "And I will punish them that dwell in the land of Egypt as I have punished Jerusalem with the sword, by famine, by the famine, and by the pestilence." You see? You see? This is what's going to happen, man. The Lord is going to start hitting Egypt up, man. And it's going to happen real soon, because what people don't understand, this place really does outsource a lot of goods, man. This place outsources a hell of a lot of goods, man. With the Industrial Revolution, you had a lot of people go from farming to industrial jobs where they produce nothing for the common person to eat, man. So this place is going to fall by pestilence and famine real soon. This is last one we'll get. This is Ezekiel 5. And 16, it says, "When I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for the destruction." You see, this is an evil arrow. The Lord is going to shoot this thing back. And like the scriptures say, when an arrow is shot of a mighty excrement, man, it returned not again. So when the Lord shoots this arrow for this famine, which he's already started shooting it, because that's why you see all these catastrophes happen where these crops can't grow. It says that it's going to be for the destruction, in which I will send upon you, which I will send to destroy you, and I will increase the famine upon you, and I will break your staff of bread. And that's what the Lord is about to do, man. He's about to break the staff of bread throughout the entire world, man. It says, "So will I send upon you famine and evil beasts, and they shall bereave thee, and pestilence and blood shall pass through thee, and I will bring the sword upon thee. I, Yahweh, have spoken it." And this is what's happening, man. This is what's getting to happen, and it's crazy to see how the Lord is doing it, man. Because he's hitting these crops first globally, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there, at a pace where you people don't notice it, you know? And let me get that, man. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and 21. It says, "Behold, victuals shall be sold good cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case." And that's what people get right now, man. You know, everything's been sold so cheap, man. This is the day and time of all bargains, man. So you people think that just because you can get all this stuff, this good merchandise that you can get, you know, and the fact that you can look good on a budget, and you can floss out on a budget, that you're gonna think yourself in good case, you know. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. You see? It says, "For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy." And that's what's going to happen, man. So, Lord willing, this is edifying. I want to say, Call Halal, Yahweh, Bashim, Shai, Bashim, Rakal Kadash, double honor to elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and Malwathala Babu, Abab Babal.